All right, you ready?
Yep.
Lights, camera, action. All right, here we go. Well, hello, guys, and welcome back to another edition of the Leadership Download. As you know, my name is Travis Van Dusen, back here with my friend Cameron Singh, and today we have another exciting podcast to share with you. Cameron, do you want to introduce our special guest for today?
Thank you, Travis. Yes, Don Overcash is the mayor pro tem for the city of Loveland in Colorado. He is also a principal trainer of Sandler Training. And we are in part 3 and our final part of a 3-part discussion with Don Overcash on success regardless of outcome. If you caught part 1 and part 2, hope you all been enjoying the fruitful discussion that we've been having. If you missed part 1 and part 2 of the discussion, you can catch it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and also our website, theleadershipdownload.com. Before we go into the final part of this discussion, just wanted to let you all know about our free mastermind course coming up called Creating Positive Change, and that'll be held on March 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. Travis and I are going to be hosting a great discussion on creating positive change for you and your organizations, and we're going to have awesome announcements coming up about our venture and about the Leadership Download podcast. So hope you can join us. Feel free to register now at theleadershipdownload.com. All the information is there. So now we'll go ahead and tune in to the final part with Don Overcash.
I think that this is like such a major takeaway, especially for everyone, but especially for younger people who are working their way up through a company or an industry, is because I can count, in my young career at 31 years old, I've already encountered quite a few situations where I knew I was not appreciated, but because I just kept maintaining that high expectation for myself and my behavior, that it naturally attracted attention that got me to the place where I was with people who appreciated me.
You're right. Opportunities present themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why and I don't know when I first thought of this, be prepared to be prepared. I don't know if it's when I was a Boy Scout and became an Eagle Scout or what it was, but being prepared, you prepare to be prepared. Yeah, I'm familiar. We all heard the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And then people like to add the 6P for me, but it has to do with bodily function. Proper preparation prevents. Well, the idea is proper preparation. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, and that's all I'm responsible for. That's up to me, right? Then and if I've done everything I can do, and I'm willing to and accept that the fact that I'm always growing. I say this to people. I ask them, especially young leaders, and I work with a lot of people, 25 to 30. It's amazing. I don't seek them. They're finding me, Travis. And I think of myself as 25 years old because I'm surrounded by all these 25, early 30s, which is awesome, right? Keeps my energy level really high. And I think, well, but it gets down to this. I ask them this question. They tell me who they are. They tell me what they're doing. They tell me what they, where they want to go, what they want to be in their company, in their next step. And I say, you know what, that's really great. But answer this for me. Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming? And initially, I hear, well, a sales leader, a manager, and I say, no, who are you becoming? And then we really start having some good conversation.
Yeah.
And I go to sleep with a smile. Because what are we doing? I'm fulfilling my mission, valuing people for my reasons, and making sure I'm prepared to be able to do that. Because I never know who I'm going to meet one day or the next. I never know. So every day is exciting because I'm intentional. I'm looking for opportunities to become compelled to do something for someone else in some manner. So every day is exciting. And I don't let the negativity that surrounds our society, that permeates our society right now. I mean, it's been negative before. You go back to the late 60s. You can't, but I can. The late 60s, it was chaotic. It was awful. And then economically in the mid to late 70s, oh my goodness, talk about inflation and I had a home loan at 14%. People want to talk about cost of housing. Been there, done that, right? Not important. That stuff all changes. Who are you? Who are we becoming? That to me is really such a driving statement that I see how it motivates people every week, and so it's just great. So I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to chat with you, and I look forward to doing some more in the future. I have any additional questions for me, I'll be quiet for 30 seconds, maybe.
So one thing
I get a little compulsive, don't I? I just love working with people.
So one of the things I'm hearing you say, and I think it's just important for our listeners to hear, is that that those values that you keep talking about, that intentionality, that is a decision that you made 10 years ago, or that's a decision you make right now that may occur 2 years from now. You're not making decisions in the present moment. You've already made the decision on how you're going to live way before you're actually in those moments. And for me, I think that's impactful for me, because I think a lot of younger people today live in the moment of saying, well, I'll see how I feel in that moment. And I'm like, no, you can't live that way. We have to be already decided on how we're going to live before those moments even happen.
Yeah.
Well, and how we often think of things when we're driving or taking showers or we're exercising on a treadmill, and then we forget about them. I recall that I was almost 13 years old, and I was close to earning. I mean, I was on my way to become an Eagle Scout. I was an early achiever, and I did things for different reasons. But I can remember the Scout motto: "Be prepared, be prepared, be prepared." And I looked around. I can remember at that age, I looked around at my friends. You're 12, 13 years old. What are you thinking about? Half the time it's all about you. It's all about yourself. And that thought stayed with me all through high school. And then in college, I got lost a bit, like a lot of people, got lost. And then I graduated from college in 1973. I got married in 74. And in 73, there was an incident that hit me. And all of a sudden, I came back to reality. And in 74, that was confirmed. And then it's been a growing experience over that, but I was driven by the sense that I knew I'm responsible for myself. Be prepared for life and be prepared for all aspects. And so it was that conscious decision that I'm responsible. So, that was that from good parenting or an education. So I have no idea. We learn from the negative. I learn really well from the negative because I'm an expert at the negative, doing things wrong. I've screwed up businesses, I've screwed up relationships, but when I learn to identify who I am and learn to say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Can we make this better? Being driven by the right things, life's been a constant growth experience. And so for the last 15 years, I got a word of the year that I formalized that process, but before then I did different things. So it's not too early to start, and it's definitely not too late to start. That's what I've learned. It's not too early. I prefer that, but it's not too late because we got today. Get started.
Absolutely.
So,
Cameron, do you have anything else you want to add?
All right. Yeah, one last thing. I just had it in my notes was you mentioned embracing the outcome.
Mhm.
And I think we leaders are very quick to embrace successes. I won an election, or I won this. I achieved my six-figure salary. And we're not so quick as leaders to embrace our failures and where we fall short. But that's so important in leadership. It really shapes us who we are as leaders and individuals, and it builds our character. And so, expand on why should leaders, especially young leaders that often give up when they hit that first roadblock or failure, why is it so important to embrace and really cherish where we fall short and our failures?
Yeah. Well, there's two ways. There's probably two avenues to look at it, and I appreciate the question because it. I haven't been asked that before. Believe it or not, I
Hmm.
get for some reason someone hasn't brought that up. I probably have asked myself or thought it through. So top of mind. It is what it is. The result, whatever happens, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's what are you going to do with it? Now, there's elements that are beyond your control. Now, you can play victim. It's not fair. You can whine. I call those losers. People tell me I shouldn't say that. I should call them non-winners. No, they made a choice to lose. Right? You can do that. And there's plenty of justification, and people can make lots of excuses. But what happens at that point? Nothing happens. It's as Jackie Chan says in the movie where he's playing in one of those cop movies, absolutely nothing. Nothing good happens if you embrace that thing. Okay? So then let's say it happens. And okay, it's a reality, it happened. Am I happy about it? No. And here's where I go back and say, what am I responsible for? What did I do in the process to get to where we're at for whatever reasons? What did I do? Okay. What could I have done better? What could I have done more of or be more of, right? What did I do that I shouldn't have done? What didn't I do that I should have done? I'll challenge myself, but I'm challenging not tactics necessarily. Yes, I will work on the tactics. I love winning. By the way, I ran 3 elections. I've won 2. I lost one. Okay, fine. Right? Talk to Abe Lincoln about that. I'd like to end up a little differently than he did, but at the end, I don't like a bullet in the head. But think about it, right? If you stop and think, I go back immediately. It is what it is. Okay, what could I have done differently? Fine. People ask me all the time, what could you done more? And I don't play. I encourage people, don't play the coulda, woulda, shoulda game. Because if you do, you're focused on the outcome. Typically, the way most people think. Play this game instead. How could I have interacted? How could I have interacted differently in different scenarios? How could I have acted differently with people in conflict or in team meetings? How could I have motivated better? Because I like to be known as an encourager. So one of my words, encouraging, action word versus the noun and encourager. But what can I do? Because now what I'm doing, and here's the key thought, I think. I'm coaching myself forwards. I'm coaching myself for tomorrow or the next week. I'm working on moving forward, accepting whatever it is, but I'm owning it. And how can I get better? In other words, what am I becoming? And that becomes an exercise it's not beating oneself up. It's taking it and learning from it and celebrating what I learned, celebrating what went well. Hey, celebrating the fact that I know I need to work on being a little more patient at times. Well, get over it. Which of us isn't?
Mm-hmm.
Or who of it? Who well, grammatically, whatever I'm saying. Which of us couldn't be more patient?
Mm.
Okay, so it's learning to forgive yourself. And when we're focused on outcomes and performance-based metrics,
Yeah.
oh man, that hurts. That's hard because it starts hitting us emotionally. But when you learn to forgive yourself for not being perfect, when you learn to accept the fact that you still have more to learn, but boy, I'm sure happy I did all this. Instead of being a 10, I'm no longer a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, I handled that like a 7, and I know I can get to an 8 or a 9 or a 10. And I'm patient with myself. That's the other thing I encourage young leaders. We need to be patient with ourselves, because you don't develop character in a microwave. It's like putting an apple pie in a microwave to bake it. What's going to happen? It's a mess. But you put that apple pie in an oven at 325 for 45 minutes or whatever the time period is, you got a wonderful apple pie at the end. Could it be better? Sure, the next time you make it, you might make it a little bit better. But it takes time, and people need to be patient with themselves. But if they won't be patient with themselves, if they're focused on the wrong things, and that brings us right back to where we started. So that's kind of my philosophy of how to approach life, I guess. And it seems to have been working pretty well. Got a lot to learn, and I'm patient. I wish I had another 50 years to do it in. Okay, I'm not very patient still. I have to get it all right away, but it takes time.
Well, Don, thank you so much for joining us. So before you leave, we got kind of a little lightning round of 4 questions that to ask you.
He's warning me, Cameron. He said lightning round. That means I'm supposed to be quick. I like to be thorough. I'm sorry. I'm excited. Okay, no. I'll be really quick. Thank you.
Best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, boy. I'm just going to have to go back to be prepared.
Okay.
As I reflect back, there's so many things I could think of.
Best book you've read in kind of last year?
The best book in the last year. How about if I read one every year? The same one.
Go for it.
I have a reading program. I read the Bible in different versions every year. I'm not perfect on that. One of these days, I'm going to get through every single page in a year. I'm getting closer. I'm going to get there. I'm getting really close. But when I think of about a book that is books that I really appreciate and enjoy, there are so many of them. I like. There's a book called Integrity by Dr. Henry Cloud. Mm-hmm. I really value that. I read that one frequently. There's a book by Dallas Willard called The Divine Conspiracy. He's a philosopher from California. He writes from a Christian perspective. The Divine Conspiracy. It's a heavy read, but it's a good read. And I read that once a year.
Okay.
I'll go back and work through that once a year. So those are just a couple that I think of, that I can think of top of mind.
All right. Well, best habit that you've developed over the years?
The best habit. Read daily. I read daily. I read and ponder, contemplate what I read daily, besides the regular stuff you read. But I read with intention.
And then the final one is a major bucket list item that is left on your list in life.
I would love to be president of the United States and fix things overnight. You have to have something to strive for, Travis.
I hear you. You got my vote.
Yeah. Well, no. In all seriousness, bucket list. To me, it's just live each day to the fullest and impact people. Help people survive and thrive. Everybody's looking and struggling with how do I survive and how do I thrive? And I think both are important. One's recognizing where people are at most of the time, survive whatever it might be. And the second thing is to take them beyond the current and help them thrive. And that's in my bucket list, to be able to do that every single day. So I live my bucket list daily. That's a serious answer.
Awesome.
But I would like to be president, though. That would be so much fun.
I love it. Cameron, any final thoughts?
No, Don, this was a really good discussion. I know I learned a lot myself. I think I'm going to go back and take some notes once on this. I think it was a really good content that is very applicable to our audience, and really, really appreciate your time and the insights that you provided. I think this is going to be very valuable for those that are listening, and for myself and Travis as well.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I appreciate the opportunity you afforded me today to be able to chat with you. I had no idea outside of, we talked a little bit about some of the things we talk about, but I think you can say that I really believe in these things. I've experienced it, and I just hope that the leaders and the young leaders that you're reaching out to, they find some value in that. So we've made an impact today, and that's really an opportunity you've afforded. So thank you so much. Happy to help any way I can, anytime.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Don.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
All right.
Hey, guys, and thank you so much for joining us today on the Leadership Download. If you found this content helpful and productive for you, just ask you to share or like, comment, or on whatever platform you're listening on. We are on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, so we are across multiple platforms. But we thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Also, check out our free mastermind course coming up on March 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. Here we'll be making some very important announcements. So to find out more and to register, you can go to our website, theleadershipdownload.com.